he's going to talk to us about a machine learning solution to healthcare access and self-diagnosis. Matteo, thank you.
Thank you very much. Good morning to everybody. I'm here to announce in 2 weeks the launch of a new app called Your.MD, which stands for Your Mobile Doctor, which we think can make life different for a lot of people around the world who have little or no healthcare. As you all know, healthcare is a massive issue everywhere. There are 5 billion people that have little or no healthcare whatsoever. 1 billion people, according to the New England Journal of Medicine, have no access whatsoever to a medical expert. 1 billion. The system is broken fundamentally because there are not enough doctors. From last year's surveys, it emerged that 4.3 million doctors and nurses are missing from the system to be able to fulfill the basic need of humanity. The US has an endemic problem. There was a survey by the Washington Post last year that highlighted that the average wait time in US cities to get a doctor appointment for non-emergency reason is 18.5 days. And Boston tops it all with 66. This is incredible. The emerging world is even worse. Africa carries 25% of the world's burden for diseases, and they only have 3% of the doctors. There's a huge disparity. But the problem is not just the number of doctors. The problem is that whenever we're not well, we have to go to a doctor. It's a knowledge issue. Basic knowledge about medical information is not available. It's too difficult, even for people that are educated, to learn about medicine. So it's essentially a distribution of knowledge issue. Article 25 of the United Nations Charter for Human Rights states that everyone has the right to a standard of living adequate for their health and the well-being of themselves and their families. Okay? So what we're trying to do is put a bit of that knowledge, the basic health knowledge, in everybody's pocket, so they can decide how to best manage their health. Whether they should go to see the doctor, whether they can stay at home and treat themselves. Last year alone in the UK, 57 million visits to general practitioners only required minor ailments like paracetamol. Those visits could have not happened, relieving the system of a huge bottleneck. So how are we going to build this app? This app requires very sophisticated technology. What we're doing to achieve this, we're building some components that are not available today in the market. The first one is the first ever map of conditions. You would not believe me, but when we started building this app, we realized that there is no database in the world that links conditions to symptoms. If you want to find out what is the probability of having a symptom within a condition, this data point is written somewhere in a paper, in some archive, but it's never been collected and organized in a database. So we're building this with the help of the National Health Service in the UK, and we're crowdsourcing the data with doctors. So we built a website like Wikipedia style, where doctors can help us finding this data and putting it into the system, so that we can then have the first map in the world of health conditions. Okay, so we can know the probability that a young female in a certain country, in a certain time of the year, with certain symptoms, is potentially suffering from a certain condition. At the moment, it's all in the head of the doctors. When you go to see them, they do this calculation in their head. Now, I would trust the computer more than a doctor when it comes to establishing the probability of my health. The second thing we're doing is that we need to make this data relevant to you. So we need to personalize it. And the way to personalize it is to use artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence enables us to create a dialogue with the user of the app that is smart. When you use the app and you say, I have a fever, the app will know your age, your sex, your location, the time of the year, and based on those symptoms, it will choose what are the best questions to ask you to enable the system to narrow down the probability of what might be wrong with you, which is also what the doctor does when you go to see them. But we do it with artificial intelligence. The third thing is that the system needs to improve all the time, so we use machine learning. Machine learning means that all the data that we collect from all the individual users is used to improve the system, so that the next time somebody uses the app with the same problem that you have, the app will be smarter and more accurate at pinpointing the condition that is wrong with you. But we need to make it easy to use, because we want 5 billion people who all have mobile phones to be able to use this. So we've chosen the simplest possible interface in the world, Messenger. Messaging apps are the most used apps in the world. And you can, in the same way you chat with your friends and family, there is no reason why you shouldn't be able to chat with your virtual doctor. The app is always going to be free, forever, for everyone, because the company mission is to democratize basic medical knowledge. So our plan is to get it out there to as many people as possible and make sure they have clinically assured information, which is not what you get on Google. When you look up your symptoms on Google, which is something that 1 in 10 people do regularly, you end up on content that is not verified. So you may actually hurt yourself. Or all our content is sourced from the NHS in the UK, which is rated the best content in the world, and is written by journalists, so everybody can understand it. It's not for doctors, it's for patients. We already have a deal with Samsung, and we're pre-installed on all Galaxy phones globally as part of their Samsung Health app. So if you have a Galaxy phone, you can just find our app there already. The business model, you may ask, are you just Samaritans or you're going to make some money? The way we're going to monetize this platform is with a health marketplace. So we are going to offer third-party services, which will, most of them will be premium, in a sort of a marketplace model, similar to Amazon. So if you need to book an appointment with a doctor, or you want to speak to a doctor, or you want to buy some medicines online, or you want to book a test, we will find the best suppliers in the market, and we will just introduce you to them for a small fee. The first partner for this marketplace is Allianz, which is the largest insurer in the world. What we've developed with them is a talk to a doctor service that uses their call centers, and for 30 euros you can call a doctor within 60 minutes from when you initiate the transaction, in 3 languages, in English, French and Dutch, 24/7. The new app, there's an existing app in the app stores, which is without the chat interface, but with all the NHS content already if you want to download it. But the new app with the artificial intelligence is launching in 2 weeks. You can see here what it looks like. It's very simple, no fancy graphics, just chat. So we think that this is the first attempt at fixing the healthcare system from the bottom up. The system, as I said before, is broken because of the lack of medical staff around the world. We are convinced that if we empower people with the basic knowledge about their health, this can completely change the numbers, the dynamics of the whole market. Empowered patients can really make a big difference on the system. Sir Muir Gray, the Chief Knowledge Officer on the NHS, said in a speech a couple of years ago that knowledge is the key element for improving healthcare. In the same way as we all have a right to clear water, we have a right to clean and clear medical knowledge. This is a collaborative effort because this platform uses everybody's data. It's obviously, we protect everybody's user data. We have a very strong security model because this is a system for people, not for companies. So you are the only person who will have access to your data. It's going to be encrypted with your password and nobody else will be able to see. But together we can change the world of healthcare. We can help everybody in the world with a mobile phone by using this service and making it better and better and better and better every day. So that's my presentation. I hope you liked it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Matteo. One of the interesting things that Google did recently was it took maybe 50 of the most common diseases in the world and said, actually, we're going to verify this with independent doctors when you search for it, to stop people being damaged by searching for health results and finding out that they're pregnant, even if they're male, and stuff like that, you know? So when you were approaching this, was it just that did you have a health problem? Were you frustrated by hearing from people? Was it a need that you saw?
It's a combination of two, because we all have health problems. This is the beauty of the solution, that every single person has a problem with their own health or with a relative, with your children, your parents, and it's always a black box. You know, it creates a lot of uncertainty and frustration and fear, because when you're not well, you're just scared, and unless you have a doctor in the family that you can just call and say, hey, what's wrong with me? It's really, really difficult to know what to do. So it just comes from frustration, my frustration and the whole team.
And what challenges do you think you have in the next year or 2 years in kind of growing and scaling and keeping it relevant?
So the challenges are, I think one of the challenges is going to be to make it as relevant as possible for each type of population, because obviously in China there's a different approach to medicine. There's a lot of traditional medicine. There's some language issues, cultural issues. So that's going to be definitely one of the things we need to deal with. There might be some regulatory issues, but we don't tell you what's wrong with you. We give you guidance. We just educate you about what might be wrong with you. So we're going to try to kind of walk that line as tight as we can.
We'll take one question from the audience, if anybody has one. Yes? There's a mic on the way.
I just wanted to ask you, it's probably a question about your roadmap, and there's been a lot of focus on, obviously, on sensors, self-monitoring. Have you incorporated that into your roadmap for the coming years?
So the question is on our roadmap if we have monitoring and sort of wearable devices. We have indeed, because the system is designed to derive inference and intelligence from each user's data and what their declared symptoms are. So the more information we have about each individual user, so say for example we have your sleeping pattern that is shared through a health kit on an iPhone, and you suddenly start declaring symptoms of the flu, we can actually monitor if your sleep pattern is affected by having the flu. And so we have already integrated with HealthKit, with Apple, and with Google Health. So we have definitely that on the roadmap. We are not going to develop anything ourselves in terms of wearable devices. We'll just partner with people.
Matteo, where can people find you after this?
I'm just here around. We don't have a booth. We had one on the first day, but
okay.
I'll stick around for a bit if anybody wants to talk to me.
Okay, thank you very much, Matteo Berlucchi from Your.MD.